Welcome to episode 11 of my 2023 training diaries. We've arrived in the Spanish Pyrenees, where we're preparing for the Pyrenees Stage Run, a 7-day stage race that Audrey and I will be racing as a team starting on Sunday. But in this episode, I'm going to tell you about the 2 weeks that we spent in the beautiful country of Slovenia, including our 4-day fastpacking adventure in Triglav National Park. In the last episode, I showed you footage from the Tour de Mont Blanc. We spent another couple of days after that in Chamonix before starting a 15-hour bus journey from France to Slovenia's capital, Ljubljana, or Ljubljana as the locals seem to call it. Ljubljana is a beautiful and very livable city. It's definitely somewhere that we'd like to spend more time in the future. The country had been hit with severe storms and flooding just a week prior in what was said to be its worst natural disaster ever. So we kept a close eye on the trail reports from the Mountain Association. But the storms seem to have mostly affected the northeastern region of the country, far from where our itinerary would take us. After a few days in Ljubljana, we continued a couple of hours north to the iconic lakeside resort town of Bled, on the edge of Triglav National Park, where we'd stay for 2 nights so that we could prepare. All right, so we are finished prepping our gear for tomorrow, for our fast pack. And this one's gonna be a little bit different than some of the other ones that we've done, things like the Tour de Mont Blanc, because we are summiting Slovenia's highest mountain, and we're staying at its highest mountain hut, along with a few other ones. So we need to be prepared for serious mountain weather. And also, we're just not really sure what to expect out there in terms of terrain. And so fortunately, Outdoor Vitals has equipped us for this adventure. We both have their puffy jackets, I've got their hard shell, and I'm also testing out their new 30-liter fast pack. And this will allow me to carry a little bit more gear, including our helmets that we're going to need for Triglav. And then Audrey can just carry the balance in her 12-liter pack. We also had to rent helmets, mainly for use on the summit of Triglav.
We got our helmets, and now we just need pizza. Smells good.
In the morning, we caught a bus about an hour west to Mostrana to reach our trailhead. Our first day on the Slovenia Mountain Trail started off with a runnable 12K approach along the Vrata Valley.
Yeah, it's got technical in a hurry, eh?
Yeah.
But things got exciting in a hurry when our trail turned sharply upwards and along a series of Via Ferrata routes.
Cable with your left hand, yeah. And then reach up for the next rung.
Don't show this to my mom, okay?
We climbed into the clouds before eventually reaching our home for the night, the highest refuge in the country at over 2,500 meters. Thunder showers had been in the forecast for the afternoon, so we'd planned to summit Triglav first thing the following morning. The rain never did come, but the clouds sure made for a spectacular sunset. The morning of our second day, it was finally time to summit Triglav, the highest mountain in the country at 2,864 meters.
All set?
Yeah, let's do this.
Triglav is a national symbol, and it's considered a rite of passage for Slovenes to reach its summit. The trail can therefore get quite busy, so falling rock is a major concern, making helmets a no-brainer. We chose to climb without harnesses though, despite there being some considerable exposure on the Via Ferrata routes, something I wouldn't recommend for those with less experience in the mountains. It was just an incredible view from the summit, and it was fun to share it with a group of guys that I'd met at the refuge the night before.
Nice work.
Job well done. Good job. You're officially Slovenian.
Yeah.
And to witness another Slovene ritual involving a lot of whipping of bumps. Our day had just begun though. After down climbing a different route, we'd go on to run and hike a total of close to 31 kilometers of beautiful alpine terrain. Before reaching our home for the second night at a refuge near Kern Lake. Our third day started with a 1,000-meter climb up to Kern Mountain. From there, we had an amazing view, looking all the way back to Triglav and our route from the day before.
So over in this direction, you can see Triglav, which we summited yesterday, of course.
The next few miles were like a hike through time, full of relics from the First World War. We continued our fairly long and very warm day of mostly traversing until reaching our refuge on the site of a dairy farm and a small traditional cheese factory.
Nice local ale. And of course, some apple strudel.
Homemade apple strudel.
We'd spend most of our final day hiking along a ridge south of Bohinsko Lake. There were thunderstorms in the forecast for the afternoon, but fortunately the weather would hold off until we were done. The terrain was much more rugged than we'd originally expected, so we didn't do much running. But the views were spectacular, and the clouds that eventually did roll in made for some epic footage.
On the final climb here. You wouldn't want it to be easy. And it's all downhill to the finish.
After our fast-packing adventure, we returned to Bled for a night before heading to Kranjska Gora, a ski town just a little further up the road, where we stayed for our final few days in the country. Our good friends from back home, Adam and Jill, just happened to be in the area on vacation with their daughter Junie, staying just about a kilometer away from us. So we spent some time at the lake with them and got out on a couple of runs with Adam as he prepared to run TDS less than 2 weeks later.
Okay, coming this way.
Yeah.
Thank you.
There we go.
These are aggressive cows. So how are the legs feeling? How are you feeling for TDS?
Like I was saying, a bit sluggish right now, but hopefully a couple more days and maybe a few workouts, just like mini ones, to get ready will help flush them out. Otherwise, good. No injuries. Half the battle.
Despite the very challenging weather conditions at TDS this year, Adam managed to finish 59th male and 66th overall in 26 hours and 29 minutes, so he killed it. I shot just a ton of footage for this over the 4 days, something like 5 hours of raw footage. So the full-length documentary will be a good 90 minutes for sure, and I hope to have that ready to publish closer to the end of the year. So stay tuned for that, and be sure to subscribe to my newsletter if you haven't already to be notified as soon as it's released. We'll also be publishing a video for our channel members where we go into detail on all of the logistics for the trip, including the route, how to travel around Slovenia, and the gear that we used. And thanks as always to my channel members for the support. We recently published a behind-the-scenes look at the gear and logistics involved for our run around Grand Teton National Park as well. So as I said, we're now in the Pyrenees, in a small town called Ribes de Freser, and we are preparing to start the race, which is going to start just up the road here from our Airbnb. And Audrey and I will be competing in the mixed team division, running 220 kilometers over 7 days with quite a bit of elevation gain. This will be our last big adventure here in Europe before we fly home. We'll have just a couple of days to sort of recover on the beach in Barcelona first. So in the next episode, I'll show you footage from the race and from our entire 3 weeks here in Spain. It's been a wild summer, and my season is not over yet because this has all just been training for my last big race, my major goal race of the year, the Moab 240 in October. So stay tuned because there's lots more to come.